Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the testimony of the panel. Representative Lujan, the chairman, and myself have introduced legislation that would provide some accountability to the mapping process. The MAP Improvement Act directs the FCC to engage in standardized information collection and incorporate it into a single map. This seems like common sense to me. The bill also allows for consumers to provide feedback on map accuracy. That makes sense too, since the individual themselves is the ultimate decider of whether coverage exists at their property or not. Mr. Spalter, do you think that that including the intended end user in the coverage map is an important check on map accuracy? And then also, and how would you envision the review process taking shape from the company perspective?
It's not only important, but it's entirely appropriate, Congressman Bilirakis, to facilitate that not only for federal governments, but for all levels of governments, tribal entities, to be able to actually have that kind of accountability and verifiability that comes with both challenge and verifiability processes. One of the benefits, actually, of advancing in the proper sequence at the front end, a location fabric, is that it will actually allow us, as Ms. Bloomfield pointed out, to minimize the number of challenges we ultimately are going to have, because we will have a reference point, a national reference point of where locations are and where they're not, against which it will be a lot harder and there will be more disincentives to report inaccurately. So we think that crowdsourcing, keeping this as a living document that can be iterated with the best kinds of products that are out there in the marketplace, every year is an important step, and we support it.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Assey, the FCC is questioning whether it should require more granular data. One complaint from providers for very granular address level service data is that such information could be used as a target for their competitors. Is this a reasonable fear, in your opinion? And if so, what can be done to ensure that the FCC has accurate and reliable data, but also protects sensitive information for their industry, regardless of how granular it is? If you can answer that, appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you for the question. I mean, obviously there is competitively sensitive data that all companies have about their plans to serve their customers. I do think one of the things that we've achieved through the shapefile process is a real balance. You know, we've talked a lot about granularity, but there's another side, which is you can get so granular that you can create systems that are so complex that they are difficult to execute and update on a regular basis. So one of the reasons we focused on moving from census blocks to shapefiles is because we believe that protects competitively sensitive data, that it is achievable, and that it is extendable across the United States in a very rapid fashion, and that we'll get the most bang for our buck if we focus on that.
Very good. I appreciate that. Anybody want my time? All right, I'll yield back. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Bilirakis. Very quickly, if I may, as you know, Mr. Spellmeyer, our bill, the LADA-LOBSAC bill, LOBSAC-LADA, however we want to say it, has some specific parameters to change how mobile broadband internet access is documented. And can you explain how and why these prescribed parameters will improve the maps that we have now?
Yes, Congressman. I do believe they will.